Toprak Razgatlıoğlu didn't just switch bikes, he stepped into a different universe. After conquering WorldSBK, many saw his move to MotoGP with Pramac Yamaha as bold, maybe too bold. The paddock buzzed. Some whispered admiration, others doubt. How could a rider who made his name with violent late braking, rear-end slides, and wild lines suddenly adapt to the smooth, flow-focused world of MotoGP? His first outing at Valencia told a brutal truth. He finished 20th, 1.8 seconds off the pace. But numbers don't tell the full story. He wasn't just behind, he was fighting the machine. Riding a MotoGP prototype like a superbike, with high handlebars and a low seat, everything felt alien. Still, flashes of brilliance shone through. His ability to brake deep, even with unfamiliar geometry, turned heads. What was clear, this wasn't a failure, it was a transformation in progress. But beneath the surface, something deeper brewed. Every lap he turned wasn't just against the clock, it was a negotiation with his identity as a rider. A battle between instinct and adaptation had begun. The paddock watched closely, because if Toprak cracked the code, he wouldn't just succeed, he'd redefine how legends are born in MotoGP. Malaysia brought heat, humidity, and a harsher reality. At Sepang, Toprak faced more than lap times, he faced physics. MotoGP's M1 demanded precision, momentum, and confidence, none of which came naturally to a rider raised on SBK instincts.
Toprak found himself hesitating in corners, unsure how to carry speed. The front Michelin didn't talk to him the way Pirelli's did. The bike felt disconnected. The team responded. A lower rear end, new handlebar positions, and revised weight distribution were introduced. The goal? Help him unlock flow. But even with tweaks, progress was slow. He confessed the bike still rode him. He wasn't in control, he was surviving. Still, data told a different story. Lap by lap, his times fell, not dramatically, but steadily. Engineers noticed consistency where chaos had lived days before. It wasn't enough to compete, but it was enough to believe. In the garage, hope grew. But outside, doubts did too. Fans asked, is he adapting or compromising? A storm was building, and Sepang was only the eye. Inside the garage, Toprak wasn't alone. Two figures stood beside him, Jack Miller and Alberto Guerriola. Miller, his teammate, wasn't just another rider. He was a mentor by experience, a man who knew what it meant to tame a V4, who had danced with Ducati and fought with KTM. For Toprak, Miller became a mirror, a rider who translated aggression into lap time within MotoGP's demanding walls. Then there was Guerriola, quiet, precise, relentless. His job was simple but not easy. Translate Toprak's sensations into usable data. When Toprak said it feels off in mid-corner, Guerriola turned it into charts, overlays, telemetry. Together, they dissected every sector, every mistake.
And yet, as support grew inside, questions began outside. Was Yamaha giving too much focus to Toprak's transition? Were other riders losing priority? Paddock politics simmered beneath the surface. But Toprak stayed locked in. He wasn't asking for special treatment. He was asking for time and a chance to prove he belonged. Toprak's biggest enemy wasn't the bike, it was himself. His style, violent braking, aggressive entry, sliding rear, was poetry in WorldSBK. In MotoGP, it was inefficient. Every time he attacked a corner like he used to, the M1 pushed back, the tires complained, the aero punished him, the lap times sank. He tried to adapt, he admitted it. I have to ride like Moto2 in some places. I don't like it, but I have to. That statement struck deep. It wasn't just about riding, it was identity. He wasn't Toprak the wild warrior anymore, he was a student again. The hardest part? Letting go of the weapons that made him great. Replacing instinct with theory, replacing chaos with control. The process was slow, painful, and psychological. Still, his data improved, not drastically, but structurally. His laps had rhythm, his braking zones became more efficient. He wasn't just surviving corners, he was starting to read them. But deep inside, one question lingered. Would becoming MotoGP compatible erase the very thing that made him special? Aero, the new battlefield in MotoGP. Yamaha rolled out a redesigned front wing,
triplane style, sharper, more aggressive. Most riders embraced it.
Full rear aero, maximum downforce, maximum lap time. Toprak. He hesitated. He didn't like the feel, the planted rear, the loss of movement. In his world, feedback from the bike was everything. The moment he felt muted, he felt blind. So he resisted. No rear wings, partial front aero, just enough to comply, but never enough to lose the feel. The engineers were split. Some respected his bravery, others saw it as wasted potential. The aero debate turned into a philosophical one. Do you trust the rider or the wind tunnel? Toprak stood his ground. Lap times mattered, but so did confidence. For now, he needed the bike to speak to him. But with every race closer, the question grew sharper. Would this resistance cost him crucial tenths or save his soul? Inside the garage, data showed growth. Outside, doubt grew louder. Fans were divided. Social media pulsed with emotion. Some praised his grit, others labeled him overhyped. He's too stiff, can't adapt fast enough. MotoGP is a different beast. Even former champions weighed in, some kindly, others blunt. Behind every test session, behind every quote to the media, a silent pressure built. Toprak wasn't just trying to ride fast, he was trying to prove he belonged in the premier class. And then came the rumors. Insiders claimed Yamaha's paddock wasn't fully aligned. Some supported giving Toprak everything he needed, full aero, freedom to experiment. Others whispered that maybe he should earn it first. The debate reached the higher-ups.
Meanwhile, Toprak kept grinding, smiling in interviews, quietly battling inside. Because he knew, MotoGP doesn't give you time. You take it or you get swallowed. And Qatar was coming, fast. Even in chaos, Toprak had one constant: braking. Mechanics, engineers, rivals, everyone agreed. His braking defied logic. He stopped later than anyone, every time. It wasn't a skill, it was a weapon. But MotoGP brakes weren't like SBK. Carbon, brutal, sensitive. They punish overuse. They demanded feel, not force. At first, his late braking became a liability. He cooked the front, missed apexes, lost drive. But he learned. He didn't change the weapon, he refined the strike. By the third day at Sepang, telemetry showed something eerie. He wasn't just braking late, he was braking smart. Trail braking cleanly, finding grip, matching data with instinct. Lap times improved, still not headline-grabbing, but undeniable. He had found a way to bend MotoGP physics without fully abandoning who he was. For the first time, the whispers changed. Maybe this kid's not just surviving. Maybe he's close to unlocking something. Behind the scenes, Yamaha was already thinking about 2027. If 2026 was a learning year, what came next? Toprak himself hinted at it. If this setup doesn't work, maybe we rebuild it next year. To the untrained ear, it sounded cautious. To those who knew racing, it sounded dangerous. It suggested a rider already thinking about resets.
About rewriting the base, even as he was still learning the code. But maybe that was the point. Toprak wasn't here to fit in. He was here to evolve. And if evolution meant pain, frustration, broken lap times, and dead-end experiments, so be it. Because when he talked about the future, he didn't talk about comfort. He talked about Marquez, about beating him, about rising to the top. Not in 2026, maybe not even in 2027, but someday. His war wasn't with the stopwatch. It was with the ceiling MotoGP had built around him. As the final shakedown sessions ended, tension filled the air like static before a storm. Toprak had made progress, yes. He had closed the gap, yes, but not enough. The front still felt unpredictable. High-speed corners still made him tense. The M1 still fought him in ways that data couldn't fix. He admitted it. It's stressful. At over 300 kilometers per hour, you need trust. I'm still learning to find that. No excuses, no hiding. And then one sentence that cut through all the noise. I didn't come to MotoGP to copy anyone. I came here to grow. In that moment, everything changed. He wasn't chasing Bagnaia's line, or Marquez's corner speed, or Quartararo's setups. He was carving his own way. And whether that ended in victory or vapor, he accepted it. But the clock ticked. Qatar loomed. MotoGP doesn't wait for legends to rise. It crushes the ones who hesitate. The lights are about to go out. Engines scream. Cameras flash.
And near the back of the grid, a lone rider lowers his visor.
Toprak Razgatlıoğlu, the outsider, the warrior, the anomaly. He's not the fastest, not yet. But there's something in the way he moves now. Something tighter, smarter, hungrier. He carries scars from WorldSBK, lessons from every corner at Sepang, pressure from a divided paddock, belief from a few, doubt from many. But above all, he carries fire, not the kind that burns out, the kind that reshapes steel. He may rise, he may fall, but he won't disappear quietly, because Toprak didn't come to survive. He came to burn the script and write his own legend.